Hey guys, it's Greg with By the Bootstraps, b2bootstraps.com. Check out the store, check out the social media, links will be below. Over the weekend, the president pardoned two military members that were being held for convictions of murder during the Iraq War, Afghanistan War, and he also reinstated someone's title pre-release after being acquitted for murder. So I'm going to read this post here out of the Washington Post real quick, just the first paragraph, so you get the names and stuff like that. So on Friday, the White House announced that the President Trump had issued executive grants of clemency, full pardons, to former Army First Lieutenant Clint Lawrence and Major Matt Goldstein, I believe is how you pronounce it. The order releases Lawrence, who was serving a 19-year prison sentence for ordering his platoon to open fire on unarmed men in Afghanistan. I love how they word that one. It prevents the trial of Goldstein, accused of a killing in 2010 of a suspected bomb maker. The White House statement also ordered the pre-retirement promotion of former Navy SEAL Edward Gallagher, who was recently acquitted of murder charges for two separate incidents in Iraq and Afghanistan. And that came from the Washington Post. What I find interesting is that this story was on none of the news, that at least not in the way that you think it would be. It wasn't on Fox News, it wasn't on CNN, it wasn't on MSNBC, it wasn't on Yahoo, it wasn't on, well, apparently it was on the Washington Post, but I didn't find that out till after hearing about that today on the radio. I went and read the stories. Like, I didn't even know it happened. Now, I haven't checked Military Times in the last couple days, so it could have been there, which I assume probably would have been. In fact, I'll probably go back and check it later, see if it was. But I remember all the coverage, though, that the Gallagher case, for example, was going through as he was going through trial. And that was almost on Yahoo and other news sources daily. It was on there quite a bit. But, this happened, and not a peep. I mean, literally not a peep. The Lawrence trial, the Clint Lawrence. I know his story a lot more than the other gentleman. It's the Goldstein. I don't really know his story. I haven't really looked into it. I've heard of what's happened. And the fact that he, supposedly murdered a suspected bomb maker overseas in a combat area in a war zone that we asked him to go to, and then we want to hold him accountable for doing his job that we asked him to do. Okay. But I am familiar with the Lawrence situation and what had happened to him. He was a new platoon leader for a group in Iraq or Afghanistan. They had been attacked previously, where some of his men in his platoon had been killed, and he was there for 72 hours, and a very similar situation was happening again, where these unarmed individuals were driving at motorcycles at them at a high speed, not stopping where they were supposed to, in an area known to have bomb makers and IEDs. And that is how the people previously, I think it was like 2 weeks prior, had died in that platoon, was from the very same means. You had men on motorcycles who did not stop at the checkpoint, who did not listen to what was said, just plowed right through, blew up, killed people, killed people in the platoon, as well as I believe they hurt the group, the platoon leader, the group leader. So here this man is, brand new to the platoon. They're patrolling on foot. Here comes again guys on motorcycles, 3 of them, not listening, not stopping, plowing through. Same tactic. And so in split seconds, he orders his men to fire on these individuals, killing them. They did not have weapons on them, and he was charged with murder. But then, a couple years later, they find DNA evidence that links these guys who were killed to IEDs and biometric measures that place them as bomb makers and IED makers in Afghanistan. So he should have been released at that point. I mean, again, another situation, if we put these guys in combat situations, we tell them to make life or death decisions. You don't know what's going on. You certainly, we're not there. I know there's a lot of people who watch this or have been over there. They see what's going on. But these guys, the ones who are charging him, they're not there. They're not in combat situations. You know, they're sitting in an air-conditioned office somewhere reading a report, not on the ground, not in that harm's way. So this man who didn't want to lose any of our guys makes a split decision order and does the job that we ask him to do. And then we punish him for it. You know, the Gallagher case, for example, he was looking at going to jail for, I think, life. You know, and again, he's a Navy SEAL. We asked him to do a certain job. He did his job. Now, you can argue, you know, I think probably the biggest problem was that, you know, he posed with a corpse. Not something I would do. It's not, you know, it's not something I would do. But at the same time, I'm not a hardened combat veteran who's part of an elite fighting force who has to be trained and has that mentality to do those things. I mean, who knows what war and things like that does to your mind. You know, a lot of guys come back with PTSD because they have seen, done, experienced things that most people will never do, will never see, and thank God. But we want to judge him based on our moral outrage. Well, that's great, moral outrage soldier. Why don't you pick up your gun, head overseas to the Middle East and do the same job he's doing? I'm willing to bet you wouldn't last 30 seconds. But you have the balls to sit there and judge this man for the things that we ask him to do, that you yourself don't have the balls to do. Great. What I find unique about this, about what happened over the weekend, is that, again, this was not posted anywhere, at least that I saw. Again, at least from what I saw. That's not saying it wasn't. I went back and looked and I didn't see anything. You know, even we don't want to give this president any credit. You know, and I think these men deserve to be let go. Just like I did think that Gallagher deserves to be reinstated, or at least, you know, promoted back to where he was, so he's entitled to his benefits that he's earned throughout the years of his career. You know, I think it was a huge disservice to demote him the way they did. You know, oh, he's not going to jail. He was acquitted. Well, if he's acquitted, well, then he shouldn't be punished then. You know. So I actually agree with what happened here. But I'm seeing a lot of comments now that I found the story and stuff. But that, I actually went and found some other stories on this Washington Post and other, well, the Washington Post article. There's people, they're outraged by that. They can't believe this. They can't believe it. You know what? Where the hell were you people when Obama was pardoning traitors? People who actually committed treason. You know, like the, oh gosh, the one that went through the sex change. Manning, thank you. I couldn't remember the name. Manning. You know, that person was guilty of espionage and treason. And yet Obama pardoned that one. You know, Bird Dog, the one that actually got people killed, actual soldiers killed because he deserted and went to ISIS. He's walking free right now. And no one, you know, there were people that were outraged, don't get me wrong, but these people who were screaming and making a scene about, you know, I can't believe this. Well, where the hell were you then? Hell, I'm surprised they didn't let Snowden off. And he's sitting in Russia right now, but, you know, it's amazing. We can go find other people and extradite and bring them back, but we can't find Snowden. Interesting. Anyway, I'm glad that this happened. I'd like to see more of this. I mean, any guy or girl that is in the military that's sitting in, and unless they flat out disobeyed orders and they went out and they actually went on a killing spree for the hell of it, that's obviously completely different. I'm not justifying that kind of behavior. But if they went out and engaged in combat and they had to make a decision, and even if it was the wrong decision, you know, but it was a life or death situation, at least to them, I don't think it's necessarily the responsibility, again, of someone sitting all the way here in the Pentagon in an air-conditioned room with a desk and a nice, you know, comfy chair, to be sitting there judging the actions of men and women out on the field who don't have the luxury of the intel that these guys might have. And if you want to run our forces like that, well, then I think that every one of those people sitting in those comfy little desks and rooms, maybe they should spend a little bit of time in the Middle East doing the same thing. Might change their perspective a little. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you later.